Molly, great to see you. We're back in London. We've got a big fight week coming up. How are we feeling?
I'm very calm, very relaxed. I've not felt this before, so let's pray it's good. Yeah, I'm just really excited to have a go.
Calm but excited. How have you got to this mindset then?
I think after my last fight, I took a couple of months off. I took 2 months off because my life had just been a roller, like a snowball. It was just literally a snowball every day, and I just had to make sure that was okay and this was okay. And then when it was, I came back to the gym and we signed for this fight in the middle of February, and the fight got moved. It was supposed to be in June on Amanda Nunes's card, and then got moved to here. And I think I've just, when you've left no stone unturned, I think you can be relaxed, do you know what I mean? And this is like a home show for me, isn't it? This is my 4th UFC London, 4th time in the O2, and yeah, just how work's been done.
I think that the last time we spoke, it was a few months ago now, is when this show got announced. I got the sense that your previous fight was still quite raw. Mm-hmm. Presumably you've had to work out a way of compartmentalising that, is that right?
Well, the thing is that was my first big media tour, and I was having to confront that loss every session, every interview. Erin, and I was like, oh yeah. And for someone who, losing kind of, we're not taught to lose, you're not taught to lose well, you're taught to be gracious and to people, kind of loss isn't what we strive for. And I think what I've took away from having a few losses in life now is I don't have to hold on to it. Do you know what I mean? I don't have to really use it to be my driving factor either. And I think I've always done that. I've held on to it too much. I've become very depressed and grieved it, and it's took its toll on me. And I think just life experience now. I had to lose in front of a sold out MSG and live to pay-per-view on the, I think it was the first or the second best pay-per-view last year for the year. So that's a lot of people to have to lose in front of and be trolled in front of. And I think the biggest thing for me was just being okay with it. That, do you know what, some days I'm the hammer and I'm throwing elbows, and some days I'm getting submitted or I'm getting beat because she's the hammer and I was the nail. So when you don't hold on to it too much and you just accept it for what it is, look, 2 people going in there, 1 person's coming out winning. It's not always my day. It is what it is.
That was 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of your life in 2022 was in the public, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. We had those 2 big wins. Mm-hmm. We then had a huge card at MSG. Mm-hmm. So how's 2023 been?
I got engaged on 12 o'clock on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I thought, after this, I'm starting fresh. I'm going for it, and I feel like that was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I coached a lot, was coaching with the national team, took them to the World Championships, got a few medals, and in that moment kind of realised, do you know what, I am actually really good at what I do. Because my fighting style, people may not understand, but my somatotype, I am so small, and I have I can only really kind of go one way because of the shape that I am. Do you know what I mean? If you're extremely tall or extremely short, you can only kind of fight one way. But when I was coaching the kids, well, the adults, all the different styles, body shapes, I was like, oh, I really do know what I'm going on about, actually. So that was a really big moment and a good moment for me. The gym's being bossed this year. The coaches have levelled up with the systems and new patterns of training, and opened a restaurant. Patrick got married. I've moved into my own home. I bought my own home. So in terms of Meatball, my identity isn't just Meatball, the UFC fighter. This year I've realised Molly McCann, the human being, and the person's got a bit about her, and I think I kind of lost that last year. And
do you think you neglected her a little bit?
I think, I'm not sure if it was you who were saying it too, not me mental health, but my mental well-being. Molly McCann has to look after that a lot, because the new life that I live is not like a normal person's life. every moment I'm out the house, someone wants something from me, or it's a lot to adjust with, and I think it took me a very long time to just be able to understand the coping mechanisms and the strategies of how to be this person now. And I think if we're talking about me being calm, maybe that's because I know that's what it is actually, lad. The penny's dropped, that's what it is. I can deal with the cards that I'm dealt.
Yeah. And I suppose what you were saying there in terms of when you leave the house, people are wanting things from you, and they're probably wanting the meatball.
The meatball,
aren't they?
yeah.
They want the performative side of your personality rather than the core part of who you are.
Yeah, like, obviously, don't get me wrong, like, my friends and my family put me in my place. I'm like the butt of every joke, like, do you know what I mean? I've never been allowed to get above my station. But for me to go into, like, a public place as Molly, but knowing everyone's going to know me as like the athlete, is like nerve-wracking, and it's really hard work. And it requires a lot of energy expenditure. So that's the bit that's tough. But I've just learned, right, I've just got to stay in a bit more, or I can only go to places that I know, like, I'm going to be okay when I go in there. And it's just a lot more prep. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Right, it's 3 o'clock, best not go out now because the kids are going to be out. Like, it's just a lot of, like, people listening might be like, oh, watching, shut up. But honestly, it's like, it's hard. It's a hard thing. Do you know what I mean? How
do you think this new mindset will be reflected in your performance?
I'm not sure, because I feel like last year I was able to make good decisions under pressure and courageous decisions that come out to be really big outcomes. And I feel like I really just, in my last fight, she just got off before me, and she was just far superior at her favourite discipline than what I was, do you know what I mean? So I just feel like I'm going to be exactly the same, but I think being more accustomed to doing a lot more of this won't burn as much.
Yeah.
I'm not the new mindset. I feel like every fight, the walkout and the fight week, I'm trying to be a little bit more reserved, because this is the best time of an athlete's life. And when you sign for the UFC in them little gloves, you don't know if you're getting to put them gloves on once or 25 times. You don't know if injury or how your fights play, how many times you're going to get to do this. So I just try and think, I've got 6 fights left on my contract, and I don't know when my body might give up. So you have to enjoy the process. And my coach, Paul Rimmer, said, Molly, you've had the best fights of your life whilst losing every round in training, and then in that last fight camp you had the best camp of your life and had the worst performance. So just enjoy the process, and what's going to be is going to be. And I think it just takes a lot of pressure off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So 6 fights on the contract.
Left after this.
After this?
After this, sorry. So it was an 8-fight contract from the last fight.
Right.
So, yeah.
Where can we go with these 7 fights, you think?
Well, if I'm not going up, I'm just walking away from it. This is too hard to do if I'm not going to be in the mix there and thereabouts. But what I've noticed in my career is when I've beat people, they're at like their peak, and then they tend to kind of drop. But if someone's beat me, they tend to fight for the world title next. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Or the fight after. So I know I don't want to be a gatekeeper. I don't want to just be a name for the fans. I really want to be. I want to be a Bisping. I want to be a Leon. And I just think, again, people can say that I'm crazy, or people are in this position are crazy, but if none of us believed we could do it, we wouldn't be putting our lives on the line, we wouldn't be putting our families through it and ruining everyone's life, being starving all the time at family parties, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So presumably that took a little bit of work to reset that, because Erin, you know, she looks like she's going to be a world beater, a champion.
I think she
in the mix, right?
Yeah, she's going to be the best of us for the time being.
I mean, she looks absolutely tremendous. Mm-hmm. So you know, in time, that's going to look like a big step up. Mm-hmm. It didn't go your way. Mm-hmm. It would be easy then to say, "Oh well, gave it a go, and I'm not good enough for the very, very best." Mm-hmm. Presumably, you've reset and you've recalibrated, and you're thinking, actually, I can see the gaps.
Look, when Shevchenko got beat by Alexa Grasso, when Holly Holm beat Ronda Rousey, when Amanda Nunes beat Cyborg, like, the underdog can always come through. Like, honest to God, I get put in there with people who've got 10-inch reach on their arms and 5-inch reach height, and on paper I should not be able to beat that frame. Do you know what I mean? But probably there's a bit of delusion in everyone where they just believe that they can, and real life isn't linear. Real life is an absolute roller coaster, and I just believe that I am walking, talking proof that, like, I'm living my dream every day that I'm here. I might not win them all, but I'm going to try and win every one of them. Do you know what I mean? And when the body's had enough, and if I lose and I lose and I lose, then I know I don't need to take the punishment. But until that moment, this old dog isn't done yet.
To talk about Saturday, we've got a fight to do, haven't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
What would a win here do for you? Is it just a case of, let me get back in there, let me shrug that off, let me show you what I'm all about, and then I'll push on? Or is there a different statement you can make here?
In my mind, I've prepared for this woman like she's Erin Blanchfield and Talia Santos all rolled into one. I just don't believe that when you have a certain level of notoriety that anyone you fight, you can underestimate. And I just don't believe that a mediocre win is okay. It's just not. Sometimes the game plan might be like punch, take down, keep them there. Obviously that's not my game plan, but that's what some people do just to get the wins. But I feel like I'm really not here to just pick a paycheck up. Like, my creativity and my expression of self is when I'm in there. I'm trying to do stuff that no one would be brave enough to do, and to show like my personality through fighting and through movement. So this girl's coming down from bantamweight. She is absolutely massive. She's a black belt, a great Hodger Gracie, black belt. She's a IBJF world champion at black belt, and this is absolutely a kryptonite fight for me once again. But I'm not here to just have walkovers, and I've never been given a stylistic fight that's like, there you go. Do you know what I mean? Everyone who puts these black gloves on is world level and is the elite, but I'm just here to just shut. I don't need to shut anyone up, because I can put my head down on the pillow at night knowing I do what I do for my community, for myself, and for people who follow fighting. I know that I do a good job, but sometimes I just be like, shut up, there you go. Just go and moan about something else to the trolls, you know what I mean? So, yeah, a statement would be a finish. Yeah. A statement would be a knockout. She's never been knocked out. A statement, I suppose, would be a submission, wouldn't it? From me, who's never subbed anyone. So I've worked so hard. This would be like 21, 22 weeks that me and this woman have trained, and I'm expecting, like, she's coming, like, if she loses, like, I've been in the position she is, where if you lose, you're done.
Desperate, right?
Yeah, like, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be, she's not going to roll over. No. They've not made a co-main event because they think, if you look at that main card, if you look at the whole fight card, anyone could be co-main event. And we are, because they know that they're going to see, it's not going to be boring. Do you know what I mean? And like I say, this is my 11th UFC bout. This is my 4th one in the O2. I believe the time is mine, and I've always been, me and Paddy always say the people's co-main and the people's main event, but I really am the co-main event now. So,
what do you think she's going to find out about you on Saturday that she doesn't know yet? That
I'm a lot better of a grappler than I think she thinks that I am, and that my elbows are sharp.
Just want to ask you about one other issue, nothing to do with your fight, but I haven't spoken to too many MMA fighters since this news was made official. Francis Ngannou, Tyson Fury, is that a competitive fight?
No, I don't believe it is a competitive fight. I don't watch influencer boxing. I don't really watch crossover stuff either. Like, Roy Jones Jr. is one of like my idols, like the person who I tried to emulate, and I didn't watch him fight Mike Tyson because I don't know, it's not for me. And they're going to make a lot of money and they're going to have fun, and there'll probably be a bit of showboating and that, but I didn't even watch the McGregor Mayweather fight. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, on Instagram I'll probably have a look at the clips because our life's consumed by that, but leave people to themselves, do you know what I mean? Like, I care about myself and my family. I can't comment on other people if I don't want people to always comment on me, but
of course,
they're doing their thing and I leave them to do that.
How difficult is it to go from being a striker in the UFC, having good hands, having an appreciation for boxing, which I know you really do, to then saying, I'm going to go and fight on their codes?
Yeah, so I've done like the opposite, do you know what I mean? I boxed and then come to MMA, so I know how hard that was. But Ngannou, if he lands one punch on Tyson, obviously, fighting's fighting. It only takes a couple of pounds of pressure to that chin. But I just feel like Tyson Fury's defence is some of the best in heavyweight boxing that we've ever seen. And he's just going to dance around that ring and probably frustrate him to death. If Deontay Wilder couldn't flatten the Gypsy King, then I don't think Ngannou will.
Thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
Enjoyed that. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you.